Warning signs flashing again. The 10-year yield at 16 to 17-year highs here, kind of depending on how you measure. But this, again, is where people with emerging economies, secondary economies, people that are in the Western world or wherever, if you have a moving rate, if you have a variable rate, you are now getting caught up in this world of having to pay off debt at a higher and higher clip. This is why we saw Sri Lanka collapse last year. This is why we saw the UK pound have a lot of problems last year. You're going to see a lot of people in the US start to have problems. People in Western economies getting up to that 4.5% yield on the 10-year note. These are times that drive men's souls. These are signs. These are real red flags starting to pop up. The economy is really struggling. The central bank now probably driving a lot of it, quite honestly. But what's their end game? We don't know. We don't know what the end game is. But unexpected things collapse and break. Well, the unexpected things seize up, collapse, break, and we don't know what that is. We never know where it's going to. It's like a balloon, right? When you're squishing a balloon or whatever, you don't know where you're squeezing something in your hand or a stress ball. You don't know where the little thing's gonna pop out at, and that's what we have. We don't know where the cracks are necessarily at all times. We don't know what's going to crack. We don't know what everyone's balance sheet looks like. Again, remember, the United States, many of these countries, many corporations, quite honestly, probably have multiple balance sheets. They aren't giving you their real balance sheet a lot of times, especially the governments. Governments definitely have multiple balance sheets. They're not telling you exactly what's going on. So you're going to see problems. If this continues for much longer and this prolonged higher rate environment, people will not be able to service the debts. You're having America have a real, the government shutdown, which would be an amazing thing. Oh, bummer, we can't send more weapons to Ukraine to kill people with. Oh, darn it. Oh, shucks. But you're going to have this problem where the new rates have been being rolled over, and the U.S. government has to start paying off or paying on higher interest rates going forward. This is not going to end well. We're just at $33 trillion last year. We did a video on that. This is not going to end well if we continue this higher rate environment. So this means only one thing. You have to then cut rates. And what does that mean? You can't taper a Ponzi scheme, as Max Kaiser has so aptly put many times over the last number of years. But you have to you're going to have to lower rates at some point, and that means easier credit for longer. This means asset prices probably go back up. You might have things break. You might have things, crazy things happen. But you're going to have asset prices go back up and balloon up. This is why Bitcoin is always proposed from my end and many people's end that understand the game, the system, because we want a new system. Bitcoin is a new equity-based, fair, just system. Fiat is a clown world. It's a clown car. And it's imploding on itself. It's the Titanic slowly sinking below the waves right now. And we are seeing that in real time. It cannot be bailed out. You cannot bail out $33 trillion. Who has the $33 trillion to bail out? No one. It's impossible. You cannot fix the current system the current reality from the current system, as Jeff Booth says. So we need to do something different. That's why we have Bitcoin. That's why we have a new system. That's going to take all this out. It's going to take central banks, render them moot, pointless. A lot of commercial banks, probably a lot of just the banks in general. But you're going to have banks, though. You're going to have people. You're going to have an equity-based system where people are lending through equity, through savings, through Bitcoin. You're going to have this, but people are going to be smarter about what they're doing. They're not going to want to relinquish their Bitcoin unless there's something profitable or something just or something smart on the other end of that, some type of smart investment. Now, people just throw whatever against the wall. Government does all kinds of ad campaigns, takes your time and energy through inflation, just sprinkles it down into megaphone, ad campaigns, beating your head against the wall with their own propaganda to tell you what they want to believe. Companies, Bud Light, doing ridiculous things because they know they're going to get bailed out. Car companies, like, we're going green, we're going to do this and that, because they know they'll get bailed out. If they fail, it's a dumb business idea because no one really asking for it, or very few people, but they're going to do it anyway. They're going to tell you what to do. That's not how life works. The market says, hey, we want this, and then the people provide, the companies provide. We're doing it the opposite way. It's top-down, command and control economies, Marxist control. We're just going to tell people what they should have. No one wants it. This is like the Edict of Prices in Italy, or in Roman times, the Roman Empire. They kept telling people what they could, what business they could be in, or what business they have to be their parents' business, and they have to charge a certain amount of prices. And this thing collapsed on itself because that doesn't work. Marxism doesn't take human emotion, human nature into consideration. And the beautiful thing about Bitcoin is it doesn't ask, Nolan Bauer talks about this all the time. Bitcoin doesn't ask humans to change. It just aligns all incentives and asks humans to just continue being who they are. And it then benefits everyone, for everyone to continue acting as they are. That's the beauty of Bitcoin. That's the world we're going to. So This is going to get, and I've said this now for years, it's going to get worse before it gets better. So get prepared. Bitcoin, gold, so a little bit of gold and silver, food, ammo, water, firearms, security, some land, building community. Build the people on digital platforms, build them in your town, your local rancher, your local farmer, your local sheriff, the people around you, so you can understand what's happening, because it's going to get crazy before it gets better. That is how nature works. Again, Jim Rogers talks about understanding history and philosophy. If you want to be a successful trader, if you want to be successful in life, how do you get closer to truth? Understand history and philosophy. So I appreciate you. Please share us out. The algorithm hates truth, so please share us out. Question everything. Trust but verify. It's not financial advice, it is freedom advice. And we'll see you on the next one.